Dun, 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 dun. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the List Perfectly YouTube Friday Live. Don't do this with List Perfectly. It's very exciting, ladies and gentlemen. I'm joined today by Patrick, List Perfectly's Director of Innovations. What's up, Patrick?
What's up? How's it going?
All right, how are you?
Good, good. Doing really good. Happy
Okay,
Friday.
happy Friday. And this is your first YouTube Live, right?
First live. Yeah, it's
All
pretty cool.
right.
Pretty
Well, you're
cool.
very requested on the podcast. People love your voice. We want to hear Patrick. So I said in one of my live promos for this that I was working on my voice this week and I tried to grow a beard,
Yeah,
but that's as far as I got. So,
I trimmed it this morning. I was ready
okay.
for my live. I was ready to go. Um,
Looking, looking very, very, very macho.
oh, really?
So I think maybe that's what we're trying to
Probably the
bring.
first time in my life anybody's told me that, but hey, I'll take it. I'm glad it happened on this live.
Well, let me say, ladies and gentlemen, and then we'll say hello to some people. We're trying to bring some machismo to the Friday Live. Obviously, I'm here, Patrick's here, but the big question is, ¿Quién es más macho, Patrick or Doug? Doug is muy macho, but Patrick is muchísimo macho, I believe.
Well, I'm sure we'll have to put a poll up and everybody can vote
There you
and
go. We can
really
do that.
we can decide it.
That's right. But we've got a bunch of people in already. What's up, Flippin' Hippos? Be sure to tune into her listing party later today.
Love it.
What's up, Carolyn, Mama Lori, Laura, Sorting with Samantha? List Perfectly's here.
Good.
Donovan, what's up? Don's here. Samantha's here. Abel's Treasures. What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining. A lot of the usual suspects. Kim's here.
Cool.
Thanks for joining. So today we're going to talk about what not to do with List Perfectly. Don't do this with List Perfectly. I might tell the don't do this story later. Clara's here. Hola, Clara. ¿Cómo estás? Vanessa Porta's here. But so we're going to talk about what not to do with List Perfectly. And it's going to be, some of the stuff that you should be doing with List Perfectly. But before we get started, Patrick, so tell us who you are and what you do with List Perfectly.
Yeah. So, hi everybody. Thanks a lot for tuning in to this live and everything. My name is Patrick. I am the director of innovation with List Perfectly. I've been with List Perfectly for over 3.5 years now. And it has been an amazing journey, and has been quite an experience to be involved with the product for such a long time, to get to be able to see where it kind of started, where it goes, and things like that. So while my title is Director of Innovation, essentially what I do with List Perfectly is just that, and help innovate, and work very closely with customers, work very closely with various teams in the company, and help to innovate, and not only to come up with new features, which we all love. That's the most exciting stuff, to come up with the next beautiful feature, shiny feature, and everything, but also on some sides of things that are really important to us at List Perfectly, customer success, customer support, things like that. So I spend a lot of time with different teams working on that, and just trying to get the product, and listen to customers' needs, and then get it to where we're fulfilling those needs and everything. So super excited to do this. Like Doug said, I've been on the podcast a few times. I don't know if anybody's listened or heard me or anything, but it's fun to do this. I'm excited for the topic. Don't do this with List Perfectly. We spend a lot of time telling everybody what they should do, and in a roundabout way, we'll
Sure.
probably touch base on a lot of those still today. But I'm excited to get into it and kind of explore, and then see what kind of questions people have and everything.
And we will get started soon. But, ladies and gentlemen, Patrick is very modest. So I'm going to drop a couple things. So Patrick is literally like List Perfectly employee number one, right?
Yes, fairly early. There was, some other people. We were about the same time, but yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it. Number one.
All right.
Yeah,
So someday
yeah,
people will think back upon you mythologically.
yeah.
You'll
I
be a
know.
legend
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the List
Like
Perfectly
that.
Museum.
Yeah. We'll do autograph sessions, everything.
And how did you get connected with List Perfectly?
Honestly, it was. I'm gonna chalk this one up to fate. It was a really unique story. It was. Um, Basically, I had recently moved across the country, moved to a new place where I didn't really know anyone. And I was also kind of exploring some new opportunities for my career and everything. And just by chance, I went to a local little meetup at a local library.
Okay.
And by chance, I was able to bump into Amanda, one of the co-CEOs with Lives Perfectly, and the rest is kind of history. And we were able to connect, got to know the product, and what's really cool is that it's um, reselling and things like that run super deep
Yeah.
in my childhood and my family and things like that. So just a little bit of a backstory there. I can remember when eBay kind of was really getting started and everything, and we had internet TV. I don't even know if there was a true name for it, but like our cable company gave us this ridiculously big keyboard, and we could get on the internet from our TV, and it was terribly slow. But I remember my dad talking about eBay and this platform you can buy anything on it and stuff, and we would sit there and we would just search and browse and things like that, and kind of look at products. For me, at that time, I remember like repeatedly like typing in soccer plus ball and
Sure,
looking at
sure.
soccer balls that are for sale and everything. So, and then from there, my family's always been involved in reselling. My family has had multiple large Etsy shops. I've always been kind of involved. Like I, I kind of joke that I'm the closest thing to a full-time reseller that doesn't do it full time. It's always been around and part of my family, part of me and everything. So when I was able to connect with Amanda and really hear about the product and things like that, I mean, it immediately really hit home with me. Um, and I mean, I remember right away going home, looking up the product. I remember talking to my dad. I'm like, this product is really cool because they were still in the reselling business and everything. So from there, like I said, the rest is kind of history. Kind of was able to keep on meeting and
Yeah.
working, and and here we are. And it's been a lot of fun and quite an experience to get to see a product that you get to be a part of the vision and everything, and see how it kind of really morphs and everything. Sometimes
Yeah.
just fun, I'll go back and look at old screenshots or things like that, because you forget. Even I think even as users, when you use the product so much or you're so involved with it, you kind of forget, wow, this has changed a lot.
Yeah.
And we'll talk with some users that have been longtime users and everything, and they'll even say it too. They recognize, and they're like, I really do forget that this is how it was, because you know what, we're just all interacting with the software, doing our thing, working it into our business flow, that it's quick to adapt and things like that. So you do kind of forget. So it's fun to kind of reminisce and see where
Yeah.
how far List Perfectly has evolved, basically.
So, and we ask this a lot, and after this, we will get started. But what is if you had to pick one single favorite List Perfectly feature that you've worked on as the director of innovations, what would it be?
Oh man, put me on the spot on this. Gosh, I mean, this isn't one that I personally worked on all from conception.
Sure.
but I've been a part of multiple tweaks and changes and everything, and that is the Pro Description Builder.
Nice.
I mean, it is truly the greatest feature that maybe you're not using. It is totally customizable. It is able to, really build these SEO rich, like amazingly formatted descriptions
Sure.
that, myself and the team truly believes helps you to sell your product better and everything. So this is the beautiful brainchild of the CEOs from a long time ago, but
Yeah.
things that I've got to be a part of was like the customization settings for the Pro Description Builder and things like that. So that's always one, I mean, of course, I love bulk cross posting. Of course,
Yeah.
I love that it's completely unlimited. I mean, there was totally a time that List Perfect we were copying one listing to multiple marketplaces at a time.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of, those are incredible features and everything like that. And there's a lot of new ones that continue to come out and that we're excited about. But when people talk about that, I like to think about some of those features that maybe aren't always so front and center.
Okay.
So if you're not using the Pro Description Builder, I would highly encourage you to check it out, take a look at it. See, I mean, for me personally, I've been using it so much and everything. Like I have a hard time not just writing everything in this format. I mean, like
Sure. Sure.
title, bulleted list, end it and everything. So it's like, it kind of just gets you going and everything. So it's one of those, that's probably my favorite feature, I would say.
Nice. There you go. All right. So that's one of the things to do with List Perfectly. And then
Yeah, oh, sorry. I was just going to say, I guess we got to keep the title. So don't not use the Pro Description Builder.
it's like, what is that game that I never can get? Is like, what is it? You're like, tell me what you've done, but you haven't done. I forget it now. But it's one of
Yeah.
those.
I think
I don't understand. Is I'm supposed to say yes? Am I supposed to say
yeah,
no? I don't know.
yeah. So
Oh, never have I ever.
yeah. I
Right?
don't
Okay.
know. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Just
There you go.
yeah.
All right. So, and ladies and gentlemen, in the comments. So again, if you have questions, let us know. Patrick, we do have a question about your jersey, so we'll get to that in a second. And then if you have questions or your input on what not to do with List Perfectly, let us know in the comments, and we'll keep an eye on that. So what's your jersey, Patrick? People want to know.
I can't turn my camera because it's fixated right now, but it is Brett Hall was one of my he's a hockey player. As far as I'm concerned, he only played for the St. Louis Blues, but he's kind of a little childhood icon of mine. So it's an autographed jersey by him. So
Sweet.
Yeah. I was able to meet him one time. And oddly enough, it was in a radio setting. So he's on air. My dad took me to the station and was able to walk in and meet him and get it autographed and
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's
cool.
the best way. I mean, it's good to get something like on eBay, but if you get it signed yourself, that's great.
Yeah, it's just a little bit different experience, but yeah, no, it's always that's honestly one of them for me personally for a long time was sports memorabilia on eBay and marketplaces and everything. So yeah.
Did you wear it after it got signed, or did you frame it right away?
No, I'm it just gets set aside. No, don't touch it, don't do anything with it and everything. So
Right.
it is just for display.
All right, cool. This is a good one. Here's a good one. We can actually, after this, we can be done. Oh, wait, don't break. This is the big one. Don't not use List Perfectly, ladies and gentlemen. That's all we need to say.
Yeah, we wrap it up right there. But that previous one, don't break the links and everything. Yeah,
that's a good
one. I'm wondering if my list got leaked or something. Because that is that's on the list for sure.
Don't keep List Perfectly to yourself.
I like these. You didn't need me.
I know. Don't miss out on listing parties. They don't need us.
Actually. Yeah, they don't need us. We can just hand this over. You guys got it all taken care of. These are all really good ones.
All right. Well, let's take a look. We do have a list, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a look at our list. So, top of the list, Patrick, don't
Yeah,
have two versions installed. Tell us about that.
yeah, we can kind of go through this list. We'll go through any questions and everything. But yeah, so what we've got added there is don't have two versions installed, and basically what that means is truly don't have two versions installed and active at the same time. Um, First off, you're going to get a bunch of warning messages about it from List Perfectly, and then it can cause some real conflicts. I mean, essentially, what's happening on screen and everything is conflicting with each other in the extension. So List Perfectly software, Google Chrome extension gets installed on your browser and your setup. If by chance you have two versions installed and
Mm-hmm.
they're active at the same time, you can get some unexpected behavior. So it's to be completely honest, it's more on the unique side of things. Not that common, in support we monitor for things like this. It's not that common, but if for some reason you do it, like I said, you're going to get these warning messages. You're going to know you did it. It's not, so what you can just simply do is, yeah, click at the top right of your screen, and just simply disable one of those. So it's pretty easy to get over and everything. It's not that big of a deal, but it's just one of those little tips and everything. Now to kind of go with a tip on that, this is kind of a pro tip with List Perfectly. We have essentially two versions. We have a standard version, and then we have, excuse me, we have our beta version with List Perfectly. Beta version typically gets the updates first, changes first. Once beta version has been tested for a while, it goes to the standard current version.
Okay.
So where the pro tip kind of comes in is, while we say do not have two versions active at the same time, having two versions installed at the same time, kind of a pro tip. And I say that because you know what the reality is that List Perfectly is installed on your device and works with all the different supported platforms and everything. Sometimes things change. Sometimes browsers push updates. Sometimes whatever may happen. Sometimes List Perfectly releases a new feature. So if you're using the current version and it's working great for you, but you want to try out this new feature, you can just simply turn off the current version, turn on the beta, and you're good to go. There's no installing. It's just simply a toggle and everything. So it's really not a big deal.
Okay.
So
And then that's a great tip, and those two different versions. And then there's the link to check your version, install the latest version. And what I like on the news page there is we've always got, the updates that we're making and updates to the new version. And then the link is always there with the instructions on how to update to your latest version.
right, yep, totally can utilize that news post area. So that's not on the list, but
There you go.
it's there.
So yeah, and that's a good tip. Don't not check the news and updates. Don't not look at your banners. So talk about the banners for a little bit and tell us why we use those and why they're important, please.
Yeah, so I touched on it a little bit earlier about List Perfectly really prioritizing some customer success and support and things like that. And one of the big thing is for List Perfectly to be able to communicate with users in the event that we need to. So banner messages, news posts, things like that really just give us a set of tools to be able to get the message out to users. So it's, you probably notice a lot of things about listing parties, about the lives and things like that, which is perfect. And you can get the information that way. We also utilize this as a tool to get you information if there is a technical issue, like we talked about. If there is a widespread issue, if there is something that is important for the community to learn, like maybe a marketplace is having an issue on their own,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe something's going on that
Yeah.
isn't perfectly related. but from sellers to sellers and from, management to our users and everything, we may find it valuable to get that information there. And then just a quick note, if you see these banner messages, of course, we want you to review them and everything. If you ever need to get rid of them or dismiss them, just simply click that little X icon, and then they're dismissed and gone and everything. So, that is an important one. To don't not read them, for sure. Yeah, exactly. hmm That's us. That's our
That's
life.
us right now. We live.
Live.
All right. I like it. Well, consignment chats. Don't put off getting LP because it doesn't auto delist. This mindset is holding you back. It held me back. There are great and easy features to help with this. My workflow adapted quickly. We have the sales notification we call the cha-ching. Everybody loves that. And then, there's great tracking abilities within List Perfectly.
Yeah. There's lots on tap. There's lots that's already there and everything, and that's exactly what consignment chat said is perfect advice and everything. I know it's been talked about a lot, and I totally understand the concern and everything. Um, it and but I would always urge people to not be afraid of that. It's kind of one of those things that is um, more just kind of like a fear that you're gonna double sell all of these items and everything. And of course, the other thing is that we understand that, hey, sometimes you might be a seller that's selling, like, here, I'm going to use an example. Maybe I sell this Ray Dunn mug that is unbelievably rare, and if anybody that's a collector sees it's available anywhere, they're buying it no matter what the price is.
Sure.
But if I know that about my product and I know that about the kind of item and things like that, then I'm going to go ahead and take a look at, like, okay, well, is this a listing that should be on 11 of the platforms that maybe I sell on, or is it something that should be on, all of them and everything? So, there's always a case by case. Like I said, List Perfectly is built by sellers for sellers. So it's something that is always understood. We understand the concern and everything. If it is a big concern and you are really truly worried about it, and it seems to be kind of prevent you from getting started with List Perfectly, honestly, what I would recommend is to get started, explore, utilize the money back guarantee trial period, and set up an onboarding call. It is a great opportunity for our team to understand your flow a little bit more and understand your concern a little bit more. So then we can help you to find a good solution and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And that's one of the big things to not do with List Perfectly. If you have any kind of issue across the board, don't wait. We've got 24/7, 365 live support, and they're List Perfectly users, they're sellers of all different levels, and you've got different options. But like Patrick says, if you're new, you can set up an onboarding call, and we're live with you. It's somebody directly from the team, and we've got not only a ton of resources for List Perfectly users, a ton of resources, free resources for sellers across the board. Some of that's content and some of that's support. So can you give us a high level view of support options, please?
Yeah, so like Doug said, and this is something that was on the list, a talking point and everything, is that don't wait, don't get overwhelmed, don't get frustrated, because I can assure you that every person that is on the List Perfectly team wants you to use your subscription and use it to the fullest that you possibly can, because that's the whole idea. So if you're getting into those kinds of scenarios where you're finding yourself having technical issues, you're having, maybe you're confused on how a feature works, maybe you're just not really sure how you can optimize List Perfectly into your workflow, because everybody's workflow is very different, and List Perfectly is very unique in the sense that it's so flexible to work in so many different workflows
Sure.
that sometimes just a simple quick message or conversation or calls and things like that can really allow us to help users to maybe see outside of the box a little bit on how it might work for your specific setup.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's not a cookie cutter service, but it's also not a boxed in service. I don't if that makes sense. You're not stuck in doing one thing one way and only do it that way.
Yeah.
So don't get overwhelmed. Definitely reach out and utilize a lot of the resources like Doug said. So if you're to kind of a high level, if you're wanting to learn more, we have multiple options. We've got quick start guides. We've got a full guide and resource center that will really go in and explain everything. So I can share my screen and kind of go over some of these options.
Okay. That'd be
Too.
great.
And so let's see here.
And while Patrick brings that up, is like, yeah, so he's going to show you some of the support options, like the quick start guide's great. The guide to list perfectly is great. It's searchable. So you can go through and put a term in and it'll bring up everything related to that thing you're asking for. And then of course we've got, all the lives we do. We've got the Facebook group, we've got the podcast, we've got the blog, and so much more. But go ahead, Patrick.
Yeah. So can you see my screen? I'm on the main menu.
Yes, good to go. Main menu.
All right, perfect. Okay, yeah. So just right from here, right from the get-go, you've got options to go into a quick start guide, and these are kind of topics that we have here in place that we would consider to be some starting points for new members or maybe members that are just returning. So it's about creating listings on List Perfectly, importing listings, cross-posting. So some of these more core functionality. And right inside of here, we can quickly get into some steps. You can navigate through here and get videos, screenshots, and things like that. You can also flow into some more advanced topics. This is going to be, like utilizing templates to make listing faster, keeping track of sales analytics, using inventory management features to mark listings as sold on marketplaces and things like that. And then also we've got some other options here for scheduling an onboarding meeting or getting some important tips and things like that. So that's the quick start guide. And if you ever needed to get by it, and also just so everybody knows, you can click this logo and get back to the main menu. There's a little tip for everybody. Lots of people probably already know that, but hey. So back on the main menu, now we can actually navigate to some of the other guides that can help you out. We've got the full List Perfectly guide here, and this is the mothership to List Perfectly. You can get anything and everything from here, and we understand that, like Doug said, it is totally searchable. You can search and find specific articles. You can utilize this main guide to List Perfectly menu and kind of get to a specific topic you maybe want to get to. For example, if you wanted to learn more about the recopy button, we can see here under cross posting and the recopy button. Now we can get in with some text and screenshots, and then also watch demo videos for a lot of these things.
Just real quick to hop in with two quick things. So if you're like me, like if I need help with something or tech help, I'm one of those that kind of tries to like to figure it out myself beforehand. And there's so much content. Like this quick start guide is great, and the guide to List Perfectly is great. And so you can go in there, search for stuff yourself. And like Patrick said, we've got tons of videos. When we are always updating our videos, always adding new content. And it's just, if you're into those self-help options, we've got all these available right within the app experience.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. So, that's the guide. It can be very in-depth and everything. Now, let's say that you're not really in this learning mode. For example, hey, there's something's not working right. Maybe it is a change from a marketplace. Maybe it's an update a browser made. Maybe it's just something that you are experiencing on your device at that time and everything. So now we kind of get into more of the real time help and things like that. So one thing I always encourage people to do is to utilize this current issues page and take a look and see, oh, okay, is what I'm experiencing just found on the is it a known issue? And while we talk about utilizing the banner messages and things like that to try and communicate to users, this is also a big way to communicate and get some information out. Hey, we are aware that there is an issue, that there was an issue cross posting or importing from eBay the other day. It's now been fixed in the beta version. So now we know, like, okay, hey, I can just go install the version and I get on with my day. There's no need to kind of go through the steps of reaching out to support, waiting, and everything. So it's all about just kind of limiting with these self-help options with the current issue page, trying to limit any kind of downtime.
Sure.
We get that List Perfectly is a vital part of a lot of people's businesses, and everyone's time is important. And a lot of us are using, maybe we're using 20 minutes we have here, 20 minutes we have there to do some of these functions. So we really try and limit any kind of true downtime for users. So
Exactly.
but hey, sometimes there's issues. So, if there's a situation where you really feel like you need to reach out to us for maybe some more personalized support, maybe it's an account related issue. It may not be a technical issue. Maybe you just need to update payment information or something like that.
Sure.
You can always go to the contact us option. And then this is where we get some menus here where we can reach out for technical support, account issues, get information about referral programs, submit feature requests, or simply review your current help request.
So let me put a quick plug in there for updating your account information. So please, if you've been with us for a while, especially, check your account information on your account page every once in a while. Update it, especially now because we are traveling. We're traveling the country. We're on tour. We're doing a ton of events, and what we do is we look up and see who's where, so we can reach out to you and tell you we're coming to your area. So if you've moved or something like that, please go in and update your account info so we always have the most current account info, for things like that, since we are going on the road for the listing party in the USA tour, which you can find out more about, Patrick, at listperfectly.com/events.
That's right.
Okay. So there have been a couple of questions that have come up, but since you showed the cool menus and the cool interface, can you talk to us a little bit about how List Perfectly is a desktop application that is mobile friendly and how important that is? Because I think there are a lot of people that don't realize that, and they just use it on the desktop, and those two experiences work so well together.
Yeah, for sure. Now this is don't not explore the mobile options. All right, everybody,
Yeah,
nobody is very far away from their phone ever. And I think that once you start putting those two together, it really starts opening the door for getting outside of the box on some things and how this can really help people in their
sure.
workflow. So yeah, like Doug said, List Perfectly as the extension, the software that does the cross posting. That is a desktop application. List Perfectly as the catalog and things like that. That is totally 100% mobile friendly.
Yes.
So the simplest way that I kind of try and think about this is if what you're doing involves the marketplace right that second, you probably need to be doing it on the desktop with the extension. If it does not involve the marketplace right that second, then there's a very high chance you can do it on the go, mobile, from the couch, sitting at the desk. Exactly. So there's like some really key things to keep in mind. Creating listings in the List Perfectly catalog, image management, These kinds of things are a huge part of everyone's business if you're using List Perfectly. It spills into other features like the photo room background remover, things like that. So it's important to, especially because sometimes we work with people in support that, and it allows us to kind of get some insight as to what people are doing on a day-to-day basis and everything. But if you're taking photos with your mobile device, there may be an opportunity to speed up the listing
Yeah.
process from mobile. There's features that are in place, like the next photo option that you can sit there and snap photos, but the photos in the meantime are going directly into a List Perfectly listing. There is no
Exactly.
delay. You don't need to store them on your phone, then go to your computer, take the pictures, get them to your computer, upload them, things like that. So, mobile friendly. There's so much you can do from the mobile. And that guide I just showed, I'll actually show it here as well. Maybe we can share a link to it. Share my screen again here.
And so this is different than back in the day when your dad would take pictures on his camera and develop them himself.
Not develop, no. So like way back in the day, I'm sure people remember this. Like do you remember like getting an item that you purchased and the pictures would be like included with the item that they would send?
Yeah.
And it'd be like, hey, this is like almost like, hey, this is proof. I'm sending you what I said I had,
Hmm.
kind of thing. I mean, and it's crazy to think about that and try and remember. Like I'm not the best one to kind of reminisce on like really old practices and things like that. But that was one that came to my mind that like, and once you start using List Perfectly Mobile, it's totally one of those things where you go, oh man, how was I not doing this all the time?
Yeah. Yeah.
If it works into your flow and everything. So what I wanted to share, can you see my screen? I'm on the guide again.
Yes.
Okay, this mobile guide here. From here, we can kind of see the overall mobile guide and kind of see what some of these features are. We can add listings, edit them, image management, create templates, edit templates, duplicate listings, delete. And then there's also this little tutorial on how you can get List Perfectly to be saved to your mobile home screen. And then
There
at
you
that
go.
point, it's almost like you're interacting with an app at that point.
Yeah.
Just kind of taking it one step further, kind of save some time. You don't need to open up and this can be done from any mobile browser. It doesn't matter if you're using Safari and things like that. When we talk about using the extension like we have here and cross posting and doing some features like that, that is required that you have to be on Google Chrome, Microsoft Edge on a desktop.
Okay.
But when we're talking about mobile, I mean, I personally, I'm an Apple user. Everything defaults to Safari. That's just who I am, and I use List Perfectly all the time from Safari. There's no issues with it. So yeah, there's really no problem. So this option here, again, there's the main mobile guide. This just kind of takes it a little bit step further, kind of gives you more of that application feel. It just saves it right to your home screen, and then you can just click it, and it automatically opens up the main menu to List Perfectly.
There you go. So let me ask you this. This is another question that came up, or another suggestion, another thing not to do. So since we just talked about mobile, let's talk about desktop a little bit. How important is it, or should I update? How often should I update my browsers?
Browsers. So, okay, little bit of backstory here. Google Chrome has changed a lot, and this includes Edge as well, both Chromium and everything. But it's changed a lot through the years. It used to be very much on the user side to basically stay up to date, know when the updates come out and things like that.
Yeah.
Nowadays, there's a lot more. First off, you can have Google settings in the background, and I'm not the Google expert, but there's settings that basically you kind of stay up to date. Your
Yeah.
browser stays up to date. Sometimes Chrome releases updates that require the user's interaction to update and everything, but you can stay up to date. You're going to notice if your browser, this isn't a list perfectly thing, this in general, if your browser starts to get a little outdated, you're going to start to notice up in the top right hand corner maybe a yellow dot. Maybe
Yeah.
you're going to see it sometimes. And honestly, this will happen to me sometimes. The other day, I just got the flat out red big letters update, and it's like it was pretty clear. It was time to update and everything.
They
So
tried to tell you, and now
yeah,
they really have to tell you.
yeah, it is time. It is time. And you know what? Sometimes with browsers and everything, it could be like something very important to get out to users and everything. So is it something where I feel like you should go in every single day and check for an update? No, but if you're experiencing something weird, if you've been using List Perfectly for a long time, you're like, that's weird. I've never seen that before. Why is it doing that? It could totally be a troubleshooting step. And then just so everybody knows, if, I'll share my screen here on this as well. I mean, it's um, nothing too crazy to update. Um,
And then, so while you switch over, so I'm going to date myself with outdated browsers. Like my first favorite browser was Netscape, and then I switched over to Internet Explorer, and then each time I was like, I'm never using another browser. And then Firefox came along, and I was never using another browser. And then Chrome. And each time it took me a while to switch over, but I'm
yeah,
very Chrome centric. I was very Google centric. I have an iPhone now, but I still really just like the Google Chrome. But I remember back in the days of Netscape. I remember back before there were images on web pages. So
oh yeah, yeah. The browser world. There's lots of browsers out there and everything. With List Perfectly, obviously, it's all about Chrome and Microsoft Edge. Um, and to be honest, the it's the engine is kind of the same really, and I say that just because sometimes it's easier to explain it like um, the engine is Chromium, and then the car on the outside is Google Chrome. But we can take the same engine and then we can put a Microsoft Edge on the outside. So they are different. They're different browsers. And like I'm showing, or you probably can't see it on here, I'm using a Mac device. I have Edge installed as well. But it is one of those things where we encourage users to use both, mainly because um, browsers are constantly kind of always changing. You might be somebody that uses a ton of Google Chrome extensions. There can be
mhm,
conflicts. So maybe one of those browsers is your dedicated List Perfectly work environment. And
sure.
maybe the other one is your shopping one where you have things like Honey or whatever other Capital One coupon code finder, whatever it might be. But like those kinds of things are where we can get into some conflicts and everything.
Okay.
So yeah, it's good to have. It's honestly good to have multiple browsers with List Perfectly. Again, it's all about Chrome and Microsoft Edge. Um, but to answer your question about updating the browser, again, it's one of those things like, do you need to log in every day and click to find out to update? No. But if you're noticing something weird, you start to get Chrome's messages up here in the top right hand corner. I would advise to possibly do it if you're noticing something weird, and kind of to troubleshoot. And then if you ever want to just check your version or something like that, you can just three dots, help, and then about Google Chrome, and we can
Okay.
see checking for updates, and then it tells us, hey, we're updated.
There you
Uh,
go.
so, so yeah, it's one of those things that obviously important, not necessarily. I wouldn't want anybody to stress about it.
Sure.
Don't set a reminder to update your browser. But yeah,
So let's move on to, can we talk about images for a bit? Don't, so don't do this. Don't have tiny compressed images from marketplaces. We talk about that a lot. So give us a little insight into that.
yeah. So this is one of those ones that hey, if it works for you, you can keep on doing it. This is a best practice one. marketplaces, they all have their own minimum requirements, maximum
Yeah.
sizes, things like that on for their images. Um, and so if you are starting your listings on some of the marketplaces, which is totally something that tons of our users do, and it's not a problem. This is something to keep in mind. Okay. And I'm going to use this example. If you start your listing directly on Poshmark, they have honestly some of the smallest image sizes of the marketplaces. It's just kind of a fact. Um, I believe it's right around like 580 pixels by 580 pixels.
Yeah.
And other marketplaces allow for bigger images
Yeah.
and image tools and things like that. So it's something to keep in mind. If you notice something where, hey, I'm cross posting from Poshmark to eBay, why doesn't my image allow for eBay's zoom in feature?
Sure.
Things like this are
Exactly.
things that are important to keep in mind. Can you do it? 100%. There is nothing that says that you cannot cross post or start your listings on one place and go to another. This isn't more of a best practice and something to keep in mind for yourself. So, in a perfect world, what I would love to see is people start their listings in list perfectly.
Yeah. So the
That's
images are optimized then for all platforms, right?
exactly. It's your best starting point. It gives you
Okay.
the biggest size to go to all of the platforms and everything. So, but hey, you know what? We totally understand. Not realistic, maybe for every single user. So then we kind of get into, okay, what would be maybe the next best practice and everything. And the fact is, like I said earlier, some marketplaces allow for larger image sizes.
Yeah.
Etsy recommends 2000 by 2000.
Wow.
And so like that's a much bigger image. And to be completely honest, what most people are doing, I'm going to make a big assumption here and say that most people are taking images with their phones. Our phones are. I'm not a camera expert by any
Yeah.
means. They pack a punch though. They
Yeah.
do a good job. And other image editing features do a really good job. So our phones are not the culprit sometimes. So
Yeah.
you're doing the work. You're doing the work no matter what. And your images we know they're important. Everybody knows that they are a very important part of selling online. So you're already doing the work. I'd be willing to bet most of the time your phone's doing a fine enough job of large images and everything. So then it kind of comes in what's happening after you take those photos. Where are they getting compressed along the way? Are they getting manipulated? Things like that.
Sure.
It's one of those things that it is really important to keep in mind. Again, not something that is 100% mandatory. But I'll share my screen here and we can take a look at
Okay.
some.
And then I want to ask you about backgrounds and things like that.
Cool. Cool. Yeah, let me get this pulled up here. So kind of going back to the guide. So under each kind of section here, can you see my screen by the way?
Yes.
All right, cool. Each section here, we've got the simple plan, the business plan, the pro plan. We also kind of get into an image manager and guide for each of those plans, depending on where you're falling and everything. And we're going to hop down to like some image resolution stuff. And I just want to kind of show you where some of this information is if you want to learn a little bit more on it and some of these best practices. You can just jump down to the image resolution where we kind of show some of these
There
minimum
you go.
sizes, some of the explanation of image resolution, what some of those recommendations are. So it's an important one for sure to just be aware of. So again, that's just in the guide. If we were on the main guide here, you can see it in each of the business or simple business and pro plan. Whoa, sorry. And you can take a look at it and learn a little bit more. So you said you had some other questions about images?
Cool. Yeah. So let's talk. Can you talk a little bit about should I or should I not remove backgrounds from my images?
Well, that's totally something that is up to each. Everybody kind of has their own belief there
Sure.
on if they should or they shouldn't. Is it truly helping me sell items? Is it truly going to be allow for more SEO in listings and things like that? I can't really say for sure, but I can tell you what you should do is utilize your background removals on each plan level. So List Perfectly, when we first offered the background remover feature, it was available just on the Pro plan. So much love. It was working so good. We wanted to spread it across all the plans. Obviously, you get the most removals on the Pro plan, but no matter what plan you're on, I would highly encourage to use them. They're there, they're
Yeah.
free. And if it, a lot of that kind of belief or should you do it, should you not do it, things like that, like does it truly affect your listings? Even if you set that aside, I'd be willing to bet, because I do it myself, I'd be willing to bet sometimes you just get an image that would be better if you removed the background.
I don't
Uh,
want to interrupt you, but I'm gonna. So I sometimes do the background remover just for fun because I want to
yeah.
see. I try to challenge it, and it has met the challenge every time.
Oh, it does an incredible job. It really does. I mean, of course, you can throw some curveballs at it. You really want to be kind of, difficult, put that brown jacket on shaggy brown carpet and see what happens. Hey, but if we're being realistic and reasonable with it, it does an incredible job. So, to answer your question, should everyone be doing it? You got to decide that for your business. Should you be utilizing the feature that's there, even if it's just something as simple as, hey, I was taking that image and I didn't realize that I left my 7-Eleven Slurpee in the background.
Yeah,
And that doesn't look as professional. And maybe somebody would be, maybe I don't want to turn away one potential buyer because of something silly like that. So, if you don't feel like you're using it to remove every background, okay, that's cool, but they're there for you to use. So I would encourage it. I would encourage to do it. I mean, you could do that right from your phone as well. Utilize that feature right from your phone and
yeah.
knock out those backgrounds. And then, if you're if you love it, then we can get into utilizing it, as in bulk.
There you
So
go. Yeah, that's pretty
multiple
sweet
things at
too.
once and then removing the backgrounds on them and everything. So
Well, I do know that Google Shopping likes white backgrounds. So that helps you show up and be more prominent in Google Shopping. And that's where a lot of people shop now. They'll go to Google, they'll search something because they want to compare prices across platforms. And then eBay highly recommends white backgrounds. eBay likes white backgrounds. And I think too is, what Patrick said, is it goes back to your experience, because when people are scrolling through all these different options, depending upon what you're selling, for one of the first things they see is your image, and they're going to extrapolate the whole experience to your image. And then I'm going to quick tell my headlights on the trash can story. So when I did work at eBay, people would complain about their listings, stuff not selling, this and that. And we would go look at their listings. And there was this one guy who said he'd been selling on eBay forever. And I used to get tons of sales and now I don't. And it's eBay's fault and this and that. I was like, okay, let's take a look. So I went over and he sold auto parts. And the first image I saw was a pair of old headlights from a car that, first of all, hadn't been cleaned up. And they were sitting on top of a trash can, which was obviously in the side or backyard of his house. So obviously, if somebody really needs them, they'll buy them. But,
yeah,
and we also all know that, back in the day, you could basically take a picture of anything anywhere and it would, probably sell. But the thing is, now there's somebody that is going to take those, they're going to take those headlamps, they're going to have a home studio, they're going to have some lighting or not, but put an extra effort in and remove the background to make it look better. And statistically, a buyer, unless it's something crazy like my one of a kind seller community water cup, but I would still remove the background. People are likely going to go with the better looking image.
I think, yeah, I mean, I totally agree with that. Hey, it's a feature that is there to help you. And,
Yeah.
and if you, and if it works into your flow. My only thing is I would really, encourage everybody to at least check it out if you're not already. It is extremely valuable. And like I said, all plans get some access to the background remover. So, it really is available for everybody to utilize, test it out and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So honestly, to kind of stay, I don't know if I want to move to a little bit different topic. I'm going to kind of stay in images though.
Okay,
Uh,
go for it.
So there is a List Perfectly extension setting that could very possibly be a setting that you don't even know exists. And if you do know exists, you may not know what it does. This setting, and when I say setting, it's in the extension here, settings. This one right here, modify images before upload. When you first install a version, this is enabled by default. And that is because it is in your best interest to have this enabled. A
Okay,
lot of us, this all comes down to square images, maybe you utilize some that are more rectangular, things like that. So this setting is all about the avoiding unwanted cropping, avoiding marketplaces from their image manager making some manipulations that maybe you don't want.
sure.
So I'm going to close this. I'm going to refresh, and I've just got kind of a little bit of a somewhat silly example here. We'll try and run through. But I've got this here, this golf club. Obviously, it's standing upright, kind of long and everything. So I've got
Okay.
the setting enabled. So now let's just go ahead and cross post this one over to Poshmark. We'll give this a second.
Look
Let
at
the
this live demo, ladies and gentlemen, with Patrick, Director of Innovation at List Perfectly.
so
Well, this
we
is good.
well, I mean, the whole idea here is I wanted to show a really long picture, and we can see on this right now that hey, I see the whole golf club still. It's still here.
Sure.
Um, Now though, let's hop back over here, and now let's disable it. We'll go ahead and reset the extension here and try one back over to Poshmark and take a look here. All right, so same image, same golf club, setting disabled. We'll cross post over to Poshmark, let the images load in again. Now I've got part of the golf club.
Okay.
I'm zoomed out as far as I can go. This is it. So, and we didn't change anything on the images or anything like that. That's 100% that setting is allowing during the cross post to prevent that unwanted cropping. So it'll help keep your images in more of a square ratio.
Hang on one sec.
Yeah.
So, can you go back in? So let's remove and go back in and share window and not the tab, because we're not seeing the whole setting. Sorry about that.
Oh, okay. Hold on one
Sorry
second.
about that.
Yeah, let's see here. Get back.
So there
Stop.
should be an option to share window.
Share screen. Window. All right, let's try this. Okay, can you see my multiple tabs up here?
Yes.
All right. Okay, so here's the gist. Let me get it back up to speed again. So we've got the extension setting with it enabled to modify images before upload. When we cross post to Poshmark and we get these more rectangular images, we get to keep the full image, and it helps keep that more square ratio that is required by Poshmark. Now, if we disable that setting and cross post, we can see here how it is only part of the club. And I can't zoom out anymore. But that's the kind of unwanted cropping that can be avoided with that setting. To be honest, a lot of people utilize their phones, their camera settings in more of a square format, but maybe some of you are selling wedding dresses that you need to get a full length, you need to get stuff like that. This setting is on by default, but it is one. Really, the point is that it's here to help you to kind of avoid some unwanted things, and then
Okay.
also kind of open up the door to this settings menu. So can you see this settings menu here?
Yes, I believe so.
Extension. Okay. All right. So, there's lots of settings. This is your chance to customize your experience with List Perfectly and cross posting. These are the general settings. Then we get into very specific settings for each marketplace and things like that. So, I mean, obviously, we're not going to go through them all today, but don't not explore the settings in the extension because it can
There you
really,
go.
really help kind of optimize your setup for cross posting.
Well, and you make a good point there too. And this is something that I always say is like, seriously, go into your List Perfectly app and look at everything and mess around because there's so much stuff in there. There's so many settings, so many different things, so many resources. Go in there, and a lot of people learn by doing. So just go in there and mess around with some of those options that you have.
Yep.
So I want to ask you. So let's talk about the referral program.
Yeah.
Don't not use the referral program. Talk about that a little bit for us, please.
Yeah. So the referral program is one of List Perfectly is probably one of the best things that maybe you're not using. And I say that because List Perfectly's referral program is extremely unique in the sense of its benefits
Sure.
and how the program works and how easy it is. And this is for a really long time, if you said referral program, affiliates, things like that, I start thinking, well, I mean, who am I? I don't have a following. I'm not a YouTuber. I don't have 10,000, whatever on Instagram. I don't even have an Instagram account, but let alone a following. So, but if you dive into the referral program a little bit, you're going to see that you can really gain some benefits to being in the referral program that are so valuable. And it is not with you do not have to have the big following. You do not
Sure.
have to have that kind of thing. So, um, some of those really unique benefits are complete and total uncapped lifetime referrals. They do not end. There is no 6 month cap. There is no, oh, if somebody signed up, as long as your referral continues to be a subscriber, you will continue to receive the benefits with an active subscription and everything. So, there's lots of that. There's lots of opportunity. I mean, I think that most people, if you're in this world, you know somebody that might be in this world. You might know somebody that may be interested enough to try out List Perfectly and everything. So it's a really great opportunity. Now, if you are somebody that does have some more following and everything, Doug's sharing the dashboard here where we can get into, hey, there's lots of resources here available to you. There's graphics to share. There's early access to beta features. There is early information about upcoming features, things like that that are exclusive to referral members. So Atlas Perfectly, we value the referral members of the program a ton. It is lots and lots of effort is put into the referral program. I know some of you that are here right now are in the referral program, and some of the team members that are here are your contacts and everything. So we're here to help you along the way and to really gain some of those benefits of being in the referral program. And yeah, I see some of these comments popping up and everything, and it's true. It really is some of the best program that you'll ever find out there. And it's also something you're gonna, if you want to talk about some of the like monetary benefits of it and everything, this program is actually going to pay you the more that you more referral members you gain. There is no cap. You're not going to only get, more for the first few. We actually want you get 50 referrals, and you're going to start making more. Get your
Yeah.
customers to upgrade, or your referrals to upgrade from simple to business, and you're going to start making more and everything. So, and again, I really want to make sure that anybody that watches this and everything, it's not really, you don't have to be huge. You're using List Perfectly already. Okay, you're already using the service, you're subscribing and everything. Even if you just tell your mom, your List Perfectly is a little cheaper.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, that really is the reality of it, is that would we all love to have List Perfectly for, have our subscription paid for? Absolutely. Tell a
Yeah.
few friends. It doesn't take that much. It really doesn't. And if you're on the other end of the spectrum, like I'm kind of using ends of spectrum here, but if you're on the other
Sure.
end of the spectrum and you're out there, you have a following, it's there for you. It is there. Utilize it in your business. If you're using List Perfectly in your business right now, you just have to share the news, and the referral program is really, you're going to benefit from it a ton.
Yeah. No, and it's a great program. And like everybody's saying, at all levels, it's valuable for you to use. Mama Lori asks, I just created an Instagram account just for my resale business, and I can share that there too. Do we use a link?
So, are you saying the share your referral link, or
Yeah.
graphics?
Yeah.
Yeah,
How does a referral member share their referral info?
yeah. So, honestly, if you want to share the dashboard again, Doug, you actually were logged in there. It's actually a good chance to kind of talk about
All
it.
right. One moment. Present.
Sorry, my account, I haven't been accepted into the referral program right now.
All right. So here I am.
Yeah, so let's hop over to that code and link generator. Yeah, so here's the deal. The referral link is your best way to, share with your community. It's not the only way right now, but it is your best way. That link, if anybody clicks on it and navigates to List Perfectly, signs up, that is going to get the referral member tied to your account, and also make sure that the user gets their discount applied and gets to take advantage of that 30% off their first month and everything. So you've got the link there where you can just simply copy it, paste it, and share it. You can do it that way. On the right hand side, you can click that little icon, and we should see a little pop up that says copied. And then you can share it, and then anybody that clicks on it, you can gain their referral that way. Now go ahead and scroll all the way to the bottom. Now here is your referral code. This is where you could create your own customized code to share with your community, share with your mom, share with your dad, whatever it might be. And at that point, how it's going to work is that you would say, hey, when you go to checkout, make sure you put in code Snoop Doggy, and
Mhm.
you'll be able to get your discount. And then the referral member, will be, basically it'll become your, referral member. So that's where you can kind of create your own custom code and everything. Highly encourage you to use the link. It's the easiest process for you as the referral member. It's the easiest process for your new, potential sign up, to gain all the benefits at once. Again, secondary, if you're, hey, let's say that you're somewhere you can't share a link. Maybe you're hosting a local meetup, and people can't click on the link in the meetup. You're talking to somebody, hey, my coupon code is LP is the best. One,
Okay.
two, three, put it in, and then, they can get a discount that way.
And then this is cool. The custom campaign links, in case you want to do like a custom campaign, like maybe like a holiday campaign or something like that, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, let's say basically what this is, let's say that you wanted to direct somebody to a specific page on listperfectly.com. So, Doug talked about it. We've got, I know tickets went on sale. We've got camp listing party coming up with List Perfectly. And so let's say you wanted to direct everybody to the events page. You can actually come in and select the events page and go ahead and if you click that drop down, should be updated with the recent pages. Um, that's okay. We can. It may not be on. It may not have been updated after the recent updates. But okay, let's use community as an example. Let's say you're a referral member and you love the community page. You love that part about List Perfectly that they really do invest in the community. You can actually direct people to the community page specifically, and then like Doug said, if you wanted to name it something, your campaign, something specific so that you can track it later, and then you just hit generate link. Now, whenever you share this link here, you're going to direct people. This becomes a new referral link. You're going to direct people specifically to that community page. Maybe it's a blog post that you love. Maybe it's something that resonates with your community. Whatever it might be. Maybe it is something that hey, there's a blog post that reminds me of something that from way back when with eBay, and I want to share it with my buddy. I can create that custom link, shoot it over to him, and now that becomes my referral link temporarily. So
Nice.
yeah.
No, that's great. And yeah, again, like, the referral program is amazing. It's the best out there, I've seen. And then, wrapping it up, Patrick, should I participate in the seller community?
That is the last one on our list and it's not in any kind of order of importance because this one is huge. And it is huge because the reality is that a lot of lister or people that resell and things like that, they do it kind of alone. Like not everybody has 10 employees that works for them. Not everybody has, they're doing this kind of more alone. And there's no better way to learn more than getting involved in the community. And it can be whatever that means for you. Okay, so if you're somebody that wants to get super involved and do everything that there is, you want to attend every event, you want to be a speaker and everything, that's great. That we love that. Maybe you just want to be more of an observer and you want to learn more, you want to read more, get involved in all the different options. There's a ton of information out there. Maybe some of this is just not totally for you. And you need all of that information and everything. But listing party is a huge opportunity to get involved in the community, the Facebook group, listening to the podcast, looking at blog posts. There's just so much there, and this is all just an added benefit to your List Perfectly subscription. I think a lot of times people think about List Perfectly and they think about cross posting and everything, and that makes sense. I mean, that's what a big part of it is. But this added component to what you get access to it's just nothing more than an opportunity. So if you're on the fence, like I'm going to be completely honest, I'm not the social media guy. I don't sit there. I don't love scrolling. I don't love doing Instagram and things like that. I have very select Facebook groups I like to be a part of because of the information it gives me. But things like Listing Party, the podcast, things like that, what's really unique is that it gives you a very specific insight into something that pertains to you. And it blocks out all of the other stuff that maybe you don't want to be a part of and everything. So, just if we use Listing Party as an example, I'd be willing to bet if you went and looked at upcoming Listing Party events that are going on, there's something there for you that maybe can just be some information and information gathering and really be a good opportunity. And then, hey, you join some, you watch them, maybe you want to host your own. I've worked with a whole lot of different customers and everything through the years, and everybody has something that they're good at, and the community, it's just a good opportunity for us to share it with each other, get involved in it, learn some, be part of the community and everything. So that's why we put a lot of effort into that, and to help people get some of those options really.
And I'm so this is, this is kind of new. Listing Party. I love, I love Listing Party. I think that I mean, it's an amazing new feature. It's a way to connect. There's listing parties going on all the time now, nearly 7 days a week, and even into the night now. So we're getting close. I mean, at some point, it's going to be 24 hours a day. And so now we've just opened it up to where you can suggest, request your own listing party. You can have a regular thing. You can have one of us in it or not. And, we're open to all days and all times. And then, just the concept of community, everybody knows that's important to me. And that's one of the big reasons I love List Perfectly. We're so ensconced in the community. It's, all the things we've talked about, all the events we do. We're all sellers. We're all List Perfectly users of different levels. And it's just, again, we always say this is like, when you're at home at night or whenever listing, it's kind of lonely. So the community is there for you. And Listing Party is helping you connect with the community. And it's just one of those options. So, and again, near and dear to my heart, I've been doing it for years in different industries, but the concept is the same. You're connecting with people, you're engaging with people, you're helping people, you're helping others. And just, online stuff helps you do it from your home. But there's to a community, any community has an online portion and an offline portion. And then what we do well is we combine the two into one concept. Couple quick things, and then we do have a winner that we will announce. And then we will let you go, but we should do this again. Also, don't not take advantage again of those resources. And obviously the podcast, the sellercommunitypodcast.com, the blog, listperfectly.com/blog, and then just all of those free resources. And there is a free resources blog post where if I were you, I'd bookmark it because it's got a link to all the List Perfectly resources. We have other blog posts about other resources that we have available, like eBay resources, things like that. Jim says, Doug and Patrick, thank you for this. So much information. I'll have to listen to this again and digest. So here's the good news, ladies and gentlemen. So this will be archived, I think, soon after we're done. It's going to be available on YouTube, so you can listen again. And then we will repurpose this down a bit for as a podcast episode, so it's available there as well. Because we want to we have some people that listen to the podcast that are not watching this live, so that's good. Opens it to another audience, and so look for that in a few weeks on the podcast. And then we have to be like a talk show. Patrick, will you come back?
Absolutely. No, it's fun. It's fun. And it's cool to talk about some topics like these. I mean, if anything ever comes up, that, you guys would like to hear me talk about some more, I would love to do it. It's really cool. Um,
Yeah,
I,
and thank you for coming on. And we're gonna have Patrick back on the podcast, and I think you're gonna see some more faces in the live, hear some more voices on the podcast, and Patrick's very much behind the scenes, and he's seen. We've talked about this, just the changes he's seen with List Perfectly, and I'm 2 years I think with List Perfectly altogether. And the changes I've seen since I've come on are crazy. So what you've seen is unbelievable.
yeah, it's a lot different for sure. It gets better and better, but you know what? It does that because of the great team, but more importantly, because of the community and how vocal our community is, and directing, and and we're listening. Honestly, we're listening to everything to help and make sure that we're building things that can service you better. We really prioritize that and everything. So no, I would love to come back and do it again. It was a lot of fun. I watch a lot of YouTube, and everybody always says hit the thumbs up button. So I feel like I want to say that. So you should hit the thumbs up button.
And we started with hey guys, so we're good on YouTube with that. Hit the thumbs up. But now, and that's Patrick, I think we're going to have to do this topic again, because what you said is very important. Is like, if you have an idea for List Perfectly, don't hesitate to suggest it to us, because the CEOs and the team look at every single idea. And there have
Yeah.
been some ideas that we've like implemented right away. Some of them go on the radar, but we want to hear the feedback. We're able to shift quickly in what we do, and a lot of new features have been suggested by List Perfectly users.
Oh yeah, a ton. It's always so fun to reach out to them and let them know, hey, we got your feature request, we're working on it, and then quickly turn around and be able to implement it. It's always a lot of fun to kind of reach out to them and let them know, hey, this is kind of something from a suggestion of yours and everything.
Yeah.
So it's cool. And you also, what? Hey, I always say this all the time with people and working with customers and everything. A lot of times people think, oh, this is my unique use case. I don't think anybody else would use it. You would be amazed that you're, number one, probably not alone, but what planting that little tiny seed might turn into.
Exactly.
Because like Doug said, it's not like, oh, I'm going to read them all and it stops there. I'm talking, this gets to the CEOs. These are topics of conversations and meetings and things like that. So plant that little seed, and let's see what may happen, and you may change the course of cross posting forever, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You don't really know, and it only just starts with one little idea most of the time. So, and that pertains to anything. It doesn't have to be the next greatest feature for cross posting. Hey, maybe there's a suggestion for a new guide, new whatever.
Exactly. And you definitely have input into List Perfectly. All right, cool. So let's do this. Thanks, Patrick. Thanks, everyone. And let's do our winner. Are you ready, Patrick?
Let's do it.
All right. It gets loud. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining today. Special thank you to Patrick, List Perfectly's Director of Innovation, for joining us today and talking with us about what not to do with List Perfectly. Patrick's going to be back. He'll be on the podcast. He's going to come back. We'll do this again. And ladies and gentlemen, the winner of one free month of List Perfectly today is Hello Bethel. Congratulations, Hello Bethel. So what you will do is please email Tiffany at listperfectly.com to fulfill your free month of List Perfectly. And she will help you out. She will answer any questions. She's our fantastic marketing manager. But again, thanks everybody. I'm Doug, the Director of Content at List Perfectly. And Patrick, you are?
Patrick, the Director of Innovation at List Perfectly.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all the great input. Thanks for the questions. Thanks for being part of the List Perfectly family. And we will see you next time.
All right. Bye, everybody.
See ya.